Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. On today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at this 2024 Ford Mustang Mach-E right behind me, and we're going to be doing a comparison of what I own right now, which is a 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. So we're going to see the differences between the two cars. We're going to see what Ford has changed over the course of that 3 or 4 years of manufacturing these vehicles. So let's dive in, let's take a look at what we have here today and see what has changed. Hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, we're coming right back at you. All right, everybody, welcome back. So Paul here with a little bit of a vehicle comparison review here. So for those of you who follow the channel, you know that I own a 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. And right behind me, I actually have a loaner vehicle that is being loaned to me right now, and this is a 2024 Ford Mustang Mach-E. Now, I've had the pleasure of driving this vehicle, and I have found so many differences just going throughout the vehicle and seeing some of the differences that the car has versus the 2021. A lot of little functionality changes, or maybe like little tiny details here and there that I've noticed are different between the two cars. So I'm curious to see what these differences are, and I want to show you all what the differences are as well, to see if it looks like Ford cheaped out on later model years to save some money, or is this just advancements and extra features that they have thrown in. I also got both window stickers for the car, so we're going to go over and see what those are, how much they're charging for these cars versus when I bought mine. So we'll see the window sticker for mine from over 3 years ago, and we'll kind of go in and see what it looks like. So let's dive in, let's take a look. So just to give you an idea, I own a 21 Ford Mustang Mach-E in this color, black, rear wheel drive, standard battery, and the premium trim. This is the identical spec to what I own. This is the premium trim with the standard battery, even though the battery is now the LFP battery, whereas I have the NMC chemistry. And of course, this is the standard battery rear-wheel drive as well. So what we have here is two identical cars just 3 years apart, and we're gonna kind of dive in and see what the differences are between them. So let's get you over to the window stickers. Let's compare and contrast those, see what looks the same, see what looks different, see what the different options and features are, and then we'll take a look and tour around the car and see what I notice is a big difference between 2021, 2024. Let's dive into it. All right, so as you could see here, we have our two window stickers. Now this one is for mine. Sorry, it's smaller. I just printed this out. And this is the 2024, the one that's right behind me here. So what we're gonna do is take a look at these two window stickers, and we're going to see some of the similarities and differences between them. So as you can see here, we have the 2021 premium rear wheel drive 68 kilowatt hour usable standard battery. Over here we have the 2024 premium rear wheel drive 72 kilowatt hour usable standard LFP battery. So right there we can see that there's a difference. There's an extra 4 kilowatt hours of usable energy on the new LFP battery versus the old one. Now I think if I'm not mistaken, even some of the later Mustang Mach-Es, like the 22, I think maybe 23, that had the NMC chemistry before they switched over. I think actually they did unlock a little bit more range in those vehicles. I'm not 100% sure, but over here you can see that it's estimated to be 100 mpge with a range of about 230 miles. On the new car, you can see 102 mpge with a range of 250 miles. So the extra 4 kilowatt hour is giving you an extra 20 miles of range, which, you know, gets also a little bit more efficient, obviously, as well. So that kind of gives you an idea that they made some adjustments to either the drivetrain or something that is, you know, going to improve the efficiency of the car as well. So going through some of the features here, you can see what we got the basically the standard features, as you can see, included at no extra charge. I mean, isn't that what standard features mean? But you can see all the options that we have here. So we got the glass roof here. So that was part of standard features back on the premium trim.
Let's see. Interior, we have really nothing that's going to stand out. A lot of the stuff is part of the premium package, so it's all kind of standard stuff. The B&O sound system, let's see, one pedal drive, yeah, Ford Pass, Sync 4A, wireless charging pad, nothing really crazy there. You can see our warranties here, and then we can see our optional equipment, which this is actually part of the premium package because it's just basically one step up from the bottom. We got the 19-inch aluminum wheels, and then you see the tire size there. Ford Copilot 360, which is part of that, and Blue Cruise, which that's something that we'll talk about in just a moment here. And all in all, you could see what the cost of my car was. $47,600 is the MSRP. After destination and delivery, came out to be about $48,700. That's my sticker price for my car. And that's what I paid for even back in 2021 when everybody was marking up the prices of their vehicles. I paid sticker price because the dealership I went to, which is the one that's currently at, they do a good job with their sales department and stuff. So pretty much most of this stuff is the same, except here is where things get a little different. So you can see under the optional equipment, you get the tires, nothing different here. Blue Cruise equipped 90-day trial. I got 3 years with mine. And I'll go over a little bit more about that in a little bit. The 19-inch wheels, that's kind of part of it as well. Panoramic roof is actually a $1,500 option now, which was actually part of the premium package when I ordered it. So yeah, that's extra. And the mobile charge cord, which I got for free in my car, or I guess you say part of the price, is a $500 option now. So all in all, this vehicle comes out to be $43,995 plus your options of $2,000, which gives you $46,000 plus a $2,000 destination and delivery. So a $900 increase in destination and delivery in 3 years. That's crazy. So you can see $47,990, $48,700. So though this car is actually more options, if you will, you get the glass roof, which I already got, the charge cord, which I already had, and you are actually paying more for destination and delivery now, it actually still comes out to be cheaper than what I paid for my car. Plus, you get the bigger battery in it. You get the LFP, which is arguably a little bit better chemistry for, just your normal everyday driver. So, yeah, interesting to see that. So that is the basically the two window stickers to compare between my 2021 and the 2024. So let's dive into the actual vehicle itself for a little bit and go over some of the differences I've seen today. And so it was pretty interesting when they rolled this car up, I thought it was mine. And honestly, I wouldn't have identified it unless it was for the wheels. So I have a different wheel on my vehicle. These actually look like there might be slightly more aerodynamic than what I have on mine. It's hard to say, but these actually look okay. I think I like mine a little bit better than these. I'm going to put like a B-roll footage up while I'm showing you what I see on this car, and then as I'm talking about it, I'm going to put a B-roll footage up of my car so you can kind of see the differences between this one and that one. So I want to kind of show you some of those differences. Now, as far as external appearances to the car, I don't really see much else. There's a couple things I'm going to point about, but really, it's really nothing, honestly, on the external parts of the vehicle. So let's go around to the back of the car here. Taillights are exactly the same. Badging looks fine. The camera placement's all in the same spot. I think the rear diffuser is, pretty much the same. Reverse lights in the same area as well. Everything on this side of the car is obviously going to be the same, except for the dimple. So there's a little dimple inside of the charge port here. So when you know where to push on it, you just do that. Charge port opens, and that is a little bit of a pain point. I've seen a lot of people with the earlier Mach-E's not know where to push to open the charge port, which is a little weird. So here we can see our CCS port here. It looks identical to mine. I don't think there's really any differences there. And so that seems to be basically the same except for the tiny dimple. So you might notice that this car is actually kind of dirty right now. This is a brand new car. Basically, they must have just got it in. It's a manufacturing date of September, so it is a pretty late build of the 2024s. Interestingly enough, it looks like it wasn't even prepped. This car wasn't even prepped. It was literally like brought in. They like ripped like the plastic bags off of it and stuff. Like you can still see there's a lot of like little, indentation, or not indentations, but like little bits of stuff on the paint. It's just dirty. It's really, really nasty. There's like a lot of scratches inside like the pillars here. You can see it's hard to see right now with this lighting, but just really, really they didn't go through it. It had 34 miles on it when I picked it up. So it's like they took it off the truck, maybe drove it around a couple times, and that was about it. I think I'm the first person to have this car, which is interesting. So let's take a look at the front headlights. I think these headlights are a little different. I don't believe mine has this 3-section like this. I don't believe mine has this amber indicator in the corner here, but I think the beams are the same. So once again, I'll put some B-roll footage up of what I have on my car. So that is a little different. Coming around the front of the car, pretty much identical in the front. I don't see anything different on the front of the car versus mine. You still got the ultrasonic sensors across the front. And you still have this little part right here for the tow hook there. So that's there up front as well. So pretty much everything looks identical in the front. So let's go into the car real quick and take a look at some differences that we might have in there. So let's actually start from the back and we'll get an idea. So actually one of the things I wanted to do real quick, let's actually close that again. So one of the features on my car that I do have that was later taken off of the cars, and I think they ended up putting back on the cars, is the... Yes? Is it not there? Huh. So this might not have the kick to open, but I'm going to show you why I think that's really weird. So let's go ahead and open this again. There's a button right here to open up the rear. So as you can see, it opens up. We still have this like privacy screen here, which a lot of people don't like. We are missing one of the buttons. So on my car, I have a button, I believe it's right here, to close the hatch, which I never understood why they did that, because the button that's what you could grab from the bottom, that is right here. So why wouldn't you just use this button to do both jobs, to close it and open it? I never knew why. But it looks like they finally went to that. So they got rid of the button that's like over here on my car. So I actually have 2 buttons that do the same thing. And then they put that single button to do the same job. So they got rid of something that was sort of a duplication and kind of an unnecessary thing, in my opinion, and just basically replaced it with this one. Now, this is what I'm talking about, is because it shows this guy doing his little kick thing to open the rear gate here, and yet I don't see that functionality. I might have to check the guide there and see. 12 volts still in the back here. That's the same as in my car. And we'll look under here. This looks all about the same. I don't really see any differences back here. Try to get some light here. You can see we have our EVSE. My EVSE came in a nice bag, like a nice canvas bag with a zipper on it and everything. So mine's like really, really nice compared to this. Let's see what kind of charger they give you. I don't want to open it up just because it's not really my car here. But yeah, this looks like a little bit different charger than what I have as well. So looks like you get the 110 volt plug, and it also looks like they do give you the 240. Looks like a NEMA 1450 as well. So at least they give you both the level 1 and level 2 options with this vehicle. We've got the license plate frame that nobody uses because it's South Carolina. We have our little compressor kit here, which I had with mine. This little partial shelf here is as similar as to what the other one is. Got some floor mats here. I'm not even going to bother putting those in because it's not my car. I'm not going to, ruin anything. These are a little different. These are plastic. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, no joke. These are plastic. Wow, why would they do that? That's stupid. I think that's terrible. So like here you have, yeah, that's still a metal bar there, but this is plastic. Look at that. Look how cheap that looks. Wow, that's a little depressing, honestly. Like mine are nice steel D-rings there. I don't know why they would have done that. That seems weird. We got some of these hanging hooks on the edges here. I think those are about the same. This looks about the same as well. Yeah, pretty much the same. Other than that, yeah, that looks all about the same. These look like they're a little bit more rubbery than mine. Mine look more plasticky. So let's go ahead and close that. There it goes. And that'll shut. And then let's start with the back seat. Now here's something that I caught right away. When you open the doors on the 21 Mach-E, when you push the button, there is a plunger that comes out, an electronic plunger, and it prevents you from pushing the door back in. And when you open the door, I'll try to get a view of it. Okay, that was a little quick. Actually, it's up here. This little plunger will push out when you push the button, and then when you open the door, this plunger goes back in. So let's see if I can get that on video there. So opens the door. Now it's pretty quick in this car. So yeah, this plunger gets sucked back into the door, but that's basically just to stop you from crushing your hands in it, but also it helps pop the door open. As you can see, it pops the door open a little bit, right? Look at the front doors now. My car has that electronic plunger. That is it. There is no electronic plunger on this door. So they took out that electronic plunger, and yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know why that is. So yeah, once again, maybe cutting costs. Maybe they felt like they didn't need it because she had this little handle here. Not really sure, but yeah, it seems weird when you go to the door and you hit the button. That's it. Normally it's supposed to pop out, you know, a good inch and a half, but yeah, weird. I don't know. Once again, this has the optional big glass panoramic roof, so that looks really cool on this car. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the outside. I'm glad to say that the mirrors are the same, or maybe I'm not so glad to say it. Hopefully these things don't fail after a few years like mine did. And yeah, so honestly, the outside looks about the same. Let's pop the frunk real quick and take a look at that. So this is the same process here. Pull twice to pop the frunk. Let's walk over to that. All right, bringing up the hood here. So quite a bit has changed under here that I can tell. So this is completely different. Mine's a more like a flat pan to it. I do have a drain hole as well, but mine's like in the middle, or maybe it's middle here. I can't really remember, but this seems to have two drain holes, one on either side there, which is probably a welcomed addition. Still got the cup holders in here. I don't think mine says Mach-E across here, but mine does have the pony underneath the hood there. This is different as well. Mine actually has this little plastic piece that kind of sits on top of this that has the louvers in it. In fact, I had brought mine back to get fixed because that piece was not installed properly from the factory, and I had them replace. In fact, they actually replaced this entire tub. This also doesn't have these little doors down here. So mine has these little doors in the frunk area, whereas this one does not have that. So yeah, a little different there. It does have a little like bag hook things here. I'm not really sure what those are used for, but so that looks all about the same other than this little tub area. So that looks a little different. This looks a little different as well versus mine. So it definitely looks like they redesigned this entire tub here, but everything around it appears to be pretty much the same, including the hood. The hood looks about the same as well. So let's jump into the car now and take a look at some of the stuff on the interior of the car that I've noticed is a bit different. All right, so besides the typical, the seats are a different color, I have the black seats in my car. These are the white seats. I can't remember if this was more expensive when I was looking at my car or if this was actually included. I think it might have been an option that was included. Now that I see it, I kind of like it, but I think I like the black interior better in the Mach-E. You can see you get the door panels in the white here. You get the little dash trim as well that goes from the passenger side as well. So some nice little additions there that I think are kind of welcomed for, you know, changing up the two-tone of the interior there. As far as differences, it's hard to tell exactly because some of this stuff is black in my car. Like this is black here, but it blends into the black interior, so really not much to see there. We still get the Bang & Olufsen system in this vehicle, as do I in mine. That seems to be part of the premium trim. Still looks like we have a manual steering column. I think mine's manual as well. Buttons on the steering wheel exactly the same on both sides here. We still have our stalks here. That's all the same. The screen behind the steering wheel here for, you know, your driving instruction, that looks all exactly the same. We're going to start the car now, and I want to show you something that's different. So my car, when you push your foot on the brake pedal, there's a little tiny light on the start button. This does not have that little tiny light. I hit the brakes, the screen comes alive, but I still have to hit this button to turn it on. So now you can see the lights kicked on. We're getting power to the vehicle. Now, as far as software is concerned, there really isn't any differences in the software, as far as I could tell. But most of this stuff looks identical. I don't really see much of a difference here. All these menus seem to be about the same. Let's go into entertainment. Yeah, that pretty much looks the same as mine as well. I went through all these options before as well, so all these options look pretty much the same, except for some of the driver assistance, I believe, which is the Blue Cruise settings and everything like that. That seems to be a little different just because this has more options. So that would be one reason why that is. Carbon fiber on the dash is exactly the same there. Opening up the glove box looks exactly the same there. So really no differences I see there. Everything up on the top here looks about the same. The roof looks to be about the same as well. So really not much changed there. Center console looks exactly the same here. Still got your 12-volt outlet. You got your little thing to put your key just in case your key fob ever dies. Parking brake buttons, your self-parking, or actually, I don't know if this car actually has the self-parking. I think they might have taken that feature out, but the button is here, so probably is there. This is different here. So the wireless charging mat, so we still have only one spot for wireless charging, and then we just have like another spot you can set a phone, but this mat is different. So it is a little bit different. Underneath it looks like, oh, they got a little bit different of a design underneath, as you can see here. But yeah, that's interesting. USB-A, USB-C, which is exactly the same as my car. But they did change that mat. Looks like the underfloor mat is pretty much exactly the same. Nothing changed there. Let's jump into the back seat real quick. So this looks all about the same except for the white interior. Obviously, that looks a little different. This shows two USB-Cs in the back. So I think that is different versus my car. I think my car has an A and a C in the back, same as the front. That's got the A and the C up front. And it's good to have a USB-A port in a car. You know, it's always good to have, yeah, at least one, in my opinion. Everything else looks about the same here. I think the seats are pretty much the same in the back. I don't really see much of a difference between those. The front seats do feel a little different in this car. Maybe they're just because, you know, it's a brand new car and not 3 years old like mine, but they do feel a little bit different. But other than that, that's pretty much exactly the same. It looks like the same design, the same type of, you know, stitching design. Seat controls are all the same. Really not much. This is different. So I have a like brushed aluminum panel here as opposed to this plastic one. This looks kind of cheap and chintzy. I don't like that at all. But I guess, you know, I guess they were trying to cut down on costs a little bit, just, you know, take out some of the overhead of making these cars. I guess that's how they got the price down a little bit. But honestly, there's not a lot in this car that I would say is different. But there's just little things here and there that I've noticed. So interesting. Another interesting thing that I've noticed about the 2024 versus the 2021 is the turn signal. So listen to the turn signal in here. All right, now I'm going to cut over to mine. And now listen to this one again. It kind of sounds like a horse galloping, doesn't it? I wonder if that was intentional or if that was just some sort of weird change they did with it. But that is something else I've noticed as well. And another thing I've noticed with this car is the rear motor. The rear motor sounds a little different than the original motor, or the one in my car, the 2021. So I think the rear motor might be a different motor in this car. And it does sound a little different. It sounds maybe a little bit louder, and just a different tone. You could tell from, the way the electrical current like runs through it. You could hear that whining sound of the electrical motor. And so it does sound a little different in this vehicle versus the 2021 year.
All right, so that was just kind of a quick video to put together the differences between the 2021 and the 2024 Ford Mustang Mach-E premium trim. Obviously, it's locking right now. So obviously there are some differences under the hood, right? Or I should say maybe under the car, right? The battery is different. So instead of having the 68 kilowatt hour battery, we now have the 72 kilowatt hour LFP battery. So it has the lithium iron phosphate instead of the NMC, which is what my car has. We can see that there's some differences in some of the materials, like they cheaped out on a couple things, like those D-hooks in the back cargo area, probably because a lot of people don't use them. The little sill plates there under the front doors there, obviously they took out the nice brushed plated ones. I don't know why they would do that. That actually looked really cool, but they took that stuff out. So there was quite a few changes that we've seen with this car. There are a couple of additions. This is by far a refreshed model. Like, we're not seeing a refreshed Mach-E here. This is literally just some changes they've tweaked over the course of the first 3 years of manufacturing, where they said, hey, like, we can make this better, we can make that better, make that cheaper, we can make this more, beneficial to the user, whatever the case may be. I didn't go over anything with the software or the driving dynamics just because that is pretty much identical. I drove the car around today. It felt pretty much identical to mine, maybe slightly softer of a ride. It's the same size wheels. We both get the 19-inch wheels on both cars, but maybe a slightly softer ride. But I can't really say for sure if there's really any differences between the suspension. If you moved up to like the GT version, maybe there were some changes in the 3 years for the GT. But that would be, something that if you had to go really high up on those trims before you start seeing a difference there. So I don't really see a difference there. As far as the power goes, it feels like this car might be a little bit more spry. In fact, I'll put up, if there's a difference between like horsepower and torque, I'll put them up here on the screen, and then you can kind of take a look at that for yourself and see if there is a difference. But we know that the battery pack gives you a little bit more range because you get a couple more kilowatt hours of energy out of it. It is the LFP technology, which is a little bit different than the NMC. And of course, we could see that there were some minor changes to, the frunk area, a couple little things in the interior, but really not that much. It pretty much is identical to what mine is. And yeah, other than that, a couple of things that were standard on the premium trim are now optional. So like the roof, for instance, is optional. The power cords, the level 1, level 2 power cords for these cars are now pretty much everybody is making that an option. They're not giving them away with the cars anymore. There's very few manufacturers that are actually doing that. So anyway, that is my comparison video of my 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E, which is unfortunately not here right now, and the 2024 Ford Mustang Mach-E that I have right behind me here. So it's a pretty nice car. I'm very used to feeling comfortable in this car because it is literally the same car that I already own. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think the Mach-E is going to need a refresh really soon to kind of keep up with the market. Their pricing obviously is pretty comparative to what it was even a few years ago, and maybe a little bit cheaper. In fact, their new base models are actually coming in a little bit cheaper than the base models were about 3 years ago. So it's good to see that the market is finally starting to come down to a price range that most people can afford. But this car is still probably just out of that comfortability level for a lot of people, in the $30,000 ranges. In fact, if you're looking for a Mach-E, I highly recommend looking at your local dealership because there's a lot of really good deals right now where they're taking 5, 6, 7 grand off of the sticker price of these cars. So I highly recommend looking at it. And once again, this is a 2024 model. The 2025 models are going to be coming out very, very soon. And those will be obviously replacing these, which makes these even cheaper because they'll become leftovers. And therefore, you can probably snatch up a 24 pretty comfortably, honestly. So really quick comparison video here. I hope you liked it. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that thumbs up below. If you're new to the channel, if you're looking for some more Mach-E video content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we do a lot of content on this channel for Mustang Mach-E's. Anyway, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today's episode, and we'll see you on the next one. And remember, welcome to the future, and welcome to tech motoring. We'll see you soon.